Are there any stories in particular from PCC that really, like stories from class or like moments that were impactful?
Yeah, I was at Cascade in like 2018. 2019 was, I think, my first year there. I remember taking the creative nonfiction class with Ezra Carlson. Mm-hmm. I absolutely loved it. I completely fell in love with workshops and just creative writing in general. It had been something that was important to me for honestly all my life, but having it be in the structure that it was at PCC, I learned so much, and I felt like it really gave me the tools that I needed to develop my own creative writing practice. Mm-hmm. And because it was so open, and because that was also my first creative writing class in a college setting, I remember being like completely overwhelmed with like how inspired I was by, especially in workshop, taking home pieces from my classmates, just getting to have these snippets of honestly the most like vulnerable, interesting, or beautiful parts of their lives. There was a woman who was in that class. Her name was Elizabeth, and she was retired and just taking a writing class because she wanted to, she just wanted to have some of her stories written down. Like, that's so beautiful. And I don't even remember exactly what it was about, but I just like, I still think about it, that she was like, wrote this moment about like being a child at Lake Michigan when it was like frozen over. And you know, when it's like something like you read something and then it's like it's your memory too. Yeah. Like you were there, you know, like really you get weird. It. Yeah. And I still like sometimes I still think about that. I don't even remember, but just like the feeling of it, I think will be with me forever. And I don't know why, but I felt like so excited to be in college and so excited to be in that environment that I wanted to just like dive into a creative class, because I knew that would just like spark something in me, and it totally did. So.
Can you tell me a little bit more about like what you're working on here?
I'm working on a project, a short fiction story collection. I'm trying to get to about 10 stories, and some of them are like semi-autobiographical, some of them aren't. But they mostly center around different young women who are having kind of a queer coming of age experience and going through pretty like surreal, strange situations that lead to a little bit more self-discovery. The seed that started it was about, I think, 2 years ago. I was living with one of my best friends, and she went to Ireland for about a month on a trip, and we shared an apartment together, and it was having the apartment to myself. I was working at a bar at the time too, and something about that time in my life, just things got really simple. I remember I would go to work and I would come home, and having the space to myself just felt like it was the first time that I had to like really been alone like that. It didn't even feel like a decision. It felt like I was doing the only thing that I could like think about at that time, which was to like write stories. Yeah. And I was shocked to find like once I wrote the first one, it almost felt like just like the first step of this like infinite ladder. It was so trippy. It was beautiful. I think that's like the first time you really get into a flow state, like just see the endless possibility in it. It was like for the first time I was just like totally like yes-anding all of my ideas and not being like, oh, that's stupid, or like, oh, that doesn't make sense, or like, oh, you can't finish that. It was just like everything felt so possible. So I think that era was like the seed. It clarified for me that writing, art making doesn't have to be this like grand, perfect thing, you know, like the complete power of it can exist like in really simple forms.
You're also a visual artist?
Yeah.
What visual art in particular do you do or enjoy doing?
Acrylic painting, some oil pastels, and like abstract with some repeating kind of figures.
Yes, I saw that you play a lot with color. Do you start with a color palette, or do you sort of find it through the process?
Oh, that's a great question. I feel like I always come back to pink and blue with everything. Like I feel like Pink and blue not only is something that I love to paint, but like being in environments that are pink and blue, like ocean with a pink sun. Oh, like that's just my favorite. Like it always gets me, you know?
Yeah.
There's just something really magical about it. I'm trying to expand. It feels familiar. When I got back into making art, I started with just buying a little thing. I don't know what it's called, like a little ink pot of blue ink and white ink. And I just started with those two, and it felt like a really solid foundation for getting back into painting. I think that like with anything, with painting, with writing, like for me, starting really simple, like I'm going to write about this like dream that I had, or like I'm going to just use blue and white, and I'm just going to give myself a very simple container for creation has always been for me the best way to like reopen that portal. So
I like that. Yeah. Do you find that influences your writing at all, or do you find there's any sort of overlap between the two?
I think that the feeling of being in a really exciting painting and the feeling of being in a really exciting story, I think that they both teach me about like how to let go and trust intuition when it comes to building something. And they both feel like in a similar way, like solving a puzzle, like making a painting feel complete feels like solving a puzzle, and then writing a story that feels effective also feels like a puzzle. Painting feels a little bit like simpler to me. Writing feels like this complex, weird world that it's like really hard to describe to other people when you're in it. It's like I have to go to this like other planet and like and I'm tortured by it because I have to like finish this thing and like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they're
it's
why do you do that to yourself? Like, I don't know if I have a choice.
I have to. Exactly. It's like I have to though, because it's like if I don't complete this story or this project, like I'm gonna feel insane, you know? And like a painting makes more sense. Like I have to finish a painting. And then writing always feels like I'm in the sewers of my mind,
it's
you
like
know?
it can get tangled at any moment, and then it's like goes all for nothing.
Exactly, right? Yeah. And it's like nobody even knew about this like strange other world I was in, and now it's like out the window.
We've appreciated having you on here.
Oh, it was a pleasure. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.